Good morning and welcome to today's morning report with me, Rich Perry, market analyst at Handtech Markets on Thursday the 12th of February. Lots going on this morning, so I'll try and be as concise as possible. We've had overnight the suggestion that there's no real agreement between Greece and the Eurogroup on negotiations on their debt repayments, and they're going to have to start again on Monday. And subsequently, markets were early on very flat on the back of that. No real drivers. The market had been sort of anticipating a bit of a move either way. Nothing really doing. So we move on. But then in the last hour, we've had two significant impacts actually coming through. We've had the BOJ has come out and basically said that additional stimulus would be counterproductive. That significantly saw a spike higher in safe haven assets. The yen strengthened significantly, and also gold price sharply higher as well. So that had that impact. But then, subsequently to that, we had news out of the peace talks in Ukraine, in Minsk, between Russia and Ukraine. Suggestions that Russia or Vladimir Putin had agreed to a ceasefire that apparently starting on Sunday. Now, forgive me for being a little bit sceptical about this or the longevity of this ceasefire, but we'll see how it goes. But still, that has impacted market sentiment. Instead of being flat, which was where the markets had opened, the stock markets, especially Germany, spiked significantly higher. Germany on the DAX up 1.3% now. And also, interestingly, we saw the ruble sharply strengthening, so dragging dollar ruble lower as well. So the net impact of all this on the dollar has been for slight correction in the dollar index, which is across the Forex majors. And certainly it looks like at the moment we're seeing a bit of a strengthening of the yen, certainly, and also the ruble. In terms of what else we've got to look out for today, well, we've got the Bank of England quarterly inflation report 10:30. Now that has, I believe, got the potential to be quite an important move on certainly sterling. I think the fact that sterling has been sort of fairly holding up quite strongly in recent days, I think that's due to this inflation report. That I think the market is thinking that the Bank of England might have a bit of a hawkish lean, and subsequently that would give the sterling a bit of support and start to make some gains again. But we'll see what happens at 10:30. Watch out for that. And then into the afternoon, we've got US retail sales at 1:30. Forecast actually to come in again fairly weakly, 0.6% negative, so another month where of negative month-on-month move for the retail sales, and certainly that wouldn't be all that positive. I remember last month was well below expectations and hit market sentiment, so that is something that we need to be mindful of. And then also we've got the jobless claims, weekly jobless claims at 1:30, forecast to come in slightly higher at 285,000, but it certainly seems as though the weekly jobless claims are sort of now, having been in a quite a nice negative trend, are starting to flatten off and starting to be a little bit more fluctuating around that 300,000, but we'll see how that goes as well. So lots going on today, lots more going on today than had been expected at the open. But certainly this Russian agreement by Vladimir Putin has improved the prospects of the equity markets, and also safe haven trades have been impacted by this this Bank of Japan announcement, or Bank of Japan leak anyway. So that takes me on to Euro Japanese, or Euro Yen, which is my chart of the day. I picked that obviously before the BOJ news, and to be honest, there's no real change actually on the sentiment. In fact, it's probably held up my argument. I've been talking about this 135 level being the key breakout, having been basis of resistance throughout the last week and a half. It broke out a couple of days ago and started to continue to go. Now, the strengthening that we've had on the yen has dragged the euro yen lower, but it was a spike back towards that 135. It's just slightly below it at 134.70, but still, I think that 135 level I'm still seeing as a key support now, because look at this on the daily chart. It was it's been a consistent pivot level. And struggling to really get above, but then bang, it pushed above. We've just had a slight pullback towards that breakout now. 135 I still see as a decent levels for entries now. I think you look at the fact that we've got the momentum indicators still positive, MACD crossover, stochastics positive, RSI still okay. I think that if it can hold above 135 on a consistent basis, I think that is the basis of a decent buying opportunity for this 137.63 retest. Now, maybe it is something to maybe watch and see how it settles down today, because obviously this BOJ news out of the BOJ may well turn the sentiment slightly. But at the moment, the reaction seems to be that 135 is broadly speaking intact, and I think that it's interesting to see the support that we got yesterday that came in around that 134 figure, and also 133.75 sort of area as well. That's interesting. So I think that whilst those two levels remain intact, I think that the outlook still remains fairly positive for this recovery of this euro yen, and it looks okay at the moment. And the reaction is just unwound slightly from that initial news out of the BOJ, but certainly it seems to be as though that 135 level, broadly speaking, remains intact. So I wish you good luck in your trading on euro yen today, and I'll speak to you later. Thank you.